Everybody, it's Mama Yorkie. Sorry it's taking me so long to get the next part out from my ghost stories. Um, but I'll probably put two or three out of them today. I want to get through some things before I get into when the psychics and the mediums came to my home here. Uh, First of all, the, the house that I was living in was an absolute nightmare. And it changed me. It changed my husband and I, our relationship. We actually divorced in that home, and I eventually sold the house so that I could force him to get out of it. Um, when you're in a haunting like this on a daily basis, it really messes with your mind. It interrupts your sleep. You think you're going crazy because you're seeing things, you're hearing things that, things that you hear might not be there. You're seeing things and you're scared. And so when you have that on a daily basis, it changes you. And so, being touched, being grabbed, being pulled, having someone feel like someone's sitting on your bed at night, your covers being pulled off of you, your nightgown being pulled away from your body, light switches, doors, cars being pulling up in your yard every day at 4 o'clock. Just I can go on and on with so much that's happened to us. Things being thrown. Uh, it was horrible. Well, we used to go to work, come home, deal with this, go to bed, wake up. It was just a routine with us. So on weekends, we'd like to take off and, just get away from the house, get away from the chaos. And so one weekend, we decided we're going to go to St. Augustine's. And I rented a room in a bed and breakfast. And we had a wonderful time. We rode the carriage ride, went to the fort, went to the Fountain of Youth, had dinner, just had a wonderful time. And so we were leaving and going back home, and my ex-husband says, "Hey, let's stop at the lighthouse on our way back home." Okay, no problem, So now I didn't know anything about the history of this lighthouse until many, many years later. My current husband and I were watching a program on television called Taps, and they did an investigation there. And as we're watching, my jaw dropped because what happened to me now, I know, was the truth. Well, we get to the lighthouse and we pull up onto the grounds. And as soon as we pulled up, I just felt very uncomfortable. I didn't want to be there. It's a hard feeling. It's a hard to explain feeling unless you had experienced this. So we park, we get out, we walk over to the lighthouse, and the more closer we got to the lighthouse, the more intense this feeling was. My husband decided to go up to the top, and I decided I didn't want to go into the lighthouse. I just couldn't do it. So I was standing outside, and as he's up there, I'm getting more and more agitated, feeling more uncomfortable and frightened. And so when he got back, he looked at me and goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I don't feel right, Ronnie, John." I said, I feel weird and uncomfortable, and I don't like this place." And he says, "Well, all right, let's go through a couple of the buildings, and then we'll head on back home." So we went through one, no problems, looked around, and so we went into the next one, and as soon as I entered it, I couldn't breathe. I was scared. I just felt doomed. And I grabbed a hold of my husband's arm and I said, we got to go. We got to get out of here. I said, please, just let's leave. And he goes, okay. So we, we left, got in the car, we get out onto the highway, and I had no I was fine. I wasn't scared, had no problems. I was fine. So what I was feeling was exactly what they had experienced through TAPS. Some of the people had the exact same feelings. So it just confirmed, to me that I was right. There was something there, and it was messing with me. And the only other time I experienced that kind of feeling was we had some friends come over, which knew about my home, and they had brought over a Ouija board. And as soon as it came into my house, I ran to the bathroom and I vomited, and I couldn't stop. And my husband came in, he says, are you okay? And I was trying to tell him in between vomiting for them to get the Ouija board out of the house. So he went and he said, listen, you got to get that Ouija board out of this house. He said, and actually you should probably just get it out of the yard, So they took it, put it in their car, and they left. And as soon as that left my yard, I felt perfectly fine. I felt like I hadn't thrown up. I was just perfectly fine. So something in my home didn't like that Ouija board being there. So stay tuned for the next part. It's going to be a good one. Bye, everybody.